Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Emily US English, where we learn to speak English naturally, confidently, and with joy. I'm Emily, your English speaking coach and your friend on this journey. Thank you so much for being here with me today. If you're watching this, it means you truly care about improving your English, not just to sound better, but to express yourself more freely, to connect, to be understood, and to feel proud of your voice in English. And I'm so happy to guide you every step of the way. Today's lesson is something truly special. It's called Shadowing English Every Day. Speak confidently and sound natural. You've probably heard about the shadowing technique before, maybe from teachers, videos, or language experts. But today, we're not just going to talk about it. We're going to live it, feel it, and practice it together. Before we start, I want you to take a deep breath. Yes, right now. Inhale and exhale slowly. Because this video isn't only about English, it's about you, your growth, your courage, your voice. I know how frustrating it can be when you study for months or even years, but still hesitate to speak. You know the words, but your mouth doesn't move fast enough. You understand everything in your head, but your voice doesn't sound natural. I know that feeling. I've been there. And that's exactly why we're doing this together today. Shadowing is one of the most powerful techniques in language learning because it helps you bridge the gap between understanding and speaking. You listen and speak at the same time, following every sound, every rhythm, every emotion. At first, it feels strange, maybe even difficult, but soon you'll start to notice something magical. The language begins to flow through you. You start thinking in English. Your voice becomes smoother, your pronunciation clearer, and your confidence stronger. So, in today's session, we'll go step by step. You'll listen, repeat, and shadow along with me. We'll work on pronunciation, stress, rhythm, and tone. You'll learn not only how to sound natural, but how to feel English in your breath, in your voice, in your rhythm. Because English, like music, has a natural beat. Once you feel that beat, speaking becomes effortless. Before we jump into the practice, let's warm up our minds and voices. If you're watching this, find a quiet place where you can speak out loud. Don't just listen, speak with me. This is your moment. Forget about mistakes, forget about perfection. You're not here to sound perfect, you're here to grow. Now repeat with me, or better yet, shadow me as I speak. Try to match my tone, my rhythm, my emotion. Ready? I can do this. I'm improving every day. Speaking English feels natural. My English voice is strong. I enjoy learning and practicing. Great job. Did you feel the movement of your mouth? The sound of your own voice? That's English becoming part of you. Let's do it again. This time, a little faster. Remember, don't wait for me to finish. Speak with me. Let's go. I can do this. I'm improving every day. Speaking English feels natural. My English voice is strong. I enjoy learning and practicing. Amazing. That's it. Keep the rhythm, keep the energy. When you shadow, you're not just copying, you're syncing your brain with the rhythm of English. You're training your muscles, your ears, and your mind to move together. Every time you do this, your brain builds stronger connections between what you hear and what you say. And the more you practice, the faster those connections become. That's how fluency happens. Not overnight, but little by little with every repetition. Many learners think fluency means knowing lots of words or memorizing grammar rules. But true fluency is about flow, the ability to move through words naturally without hesitation. And that's exactly what shadowing gives you. It teaches your mouth to follow English automatically, the same way musicians follow rhythm without thinking of every single note. Now, I want to tell you something personal. When I started learning another language, Spanish, I struggled so much to sound natural. I could memorize hundreds of words. I could understand grammar perfectly. But when I spoke, something was missing. My voice sounded stiff. My rhythm was off. It didn't sound alive. Then one day, I discovered the shadowing technique. I started listening to podcasts, movies, and real conversations, and I repeated everything, sentence by sentence, matching the speaker's rhythm and tone. At first, I made mistakes. My tongue tripped up. I laughed at myself a lot, but I kept going. And one day, it just clicked. My sentences began to flow. My voice sounded different, smoother, faster, more confident. That was the moment I realized shadowing doesn't just improve your English, it transforms the way your brain connects to the language. That's what I want for you today, to experience that transformation, to stop being shy and start feeling connected. When you shadow, you're not imitating, you're embodying. You become the rhythm, the sound, the energy of English. Every time you shadow a phrase, you make it a part of who you are. That's how you build confidence that lasts. So, before we go deeper into practice, I want you to make a small promise to yourself. Say it with me out loud. I will not be afraid of my mistakes. I will keep practicing even when it feels hard. I will speak English with confidence and joy. Beautiful. Every time you say those words, you strengthen your mindset, the most powerful tool in language learning. You see, fluency isn't about perfection. It's about courage. The courage to open your mouth and let your thoughts flow. The courage to keep going when you stumble. The courage to believe that your English voice deserves to be heard. Now, let's talk a little more about what we're going to do in this video. You and I are going to practice shadowing English every day. That means I'll guide you through real-life sentences, natural phrases, and mini conversations. We'll work on how to sound calm, clear, and confident, not robotic. You'll learn to connect your voice with your feelings. Because confidence doesn't come from knowing everything. It comes from being comfortable with yourself when you speak. During this practice, I want you to let go of any fear of sounding wrong. You might not sound exactly like me, and that's perfectly okay. Everyone has their own voice, their own tone, their own way of expressing themselves. The goal of shadowing isn't to erase your accent, it's to help your English flow more naturally within your accent. Your voice is unique, and that's something to celebrate. Now, let's do a short rhythm exercise. I'll say a few everyday phrases in English, and I want you to shadow them as naturally as you can. Don't pause. Just go with the flow. Ready? How's it going? Good morning. How are you today? I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. That sounds interesting. Could you say that again, please? I totally understand what you mean.
Keep going. Keep shadowing. Let the words roll off your tongue. Try to match the melody of my voice. English has music. You can hear it in the rising and falling tones. If you listen carefully, you'll notice it's not flat. It's alive. Shadowing helps you capture that natural melody, which is what makes native speakers sound smooth and confident. If you ever feel tired, don't worry. Just relax, breathe, and come back. Shadowing isn't a race. It's a rhythm. The more you listen, the more you speak, the more your brain adapts. It's like training for a sport. The more you move, the stronger your muscles get. Here, your voice is your muscle. Remember, the most powerful moment in language learning isn't when you understand a grammar rule. It's when you suddenly speak without thinking, when the words just flow. That's the moment shadowing helps you reach, and that's the moment you'll start to feel fluent. Before we wrap up this introduction, I want you to think about your why. Why do you want to speak English confidently? Maybe it's for your career. Maybe for travel, maybe to make new friends, or maybe just to feel proud of yourself. Whatever your reason, hold on to it, because that reason will carry you through the hard days, the days you feel stuck, tired, or unsure. Every great learner has moments of doubt. But what makes you different is that you keep going. You've already taken the most important step by being here. That means you care. You're showing up for yourself, and that's powerful. The truth is, every time you shadow, every time you speak, every time you listen, you're not just improving your English. You're building confidence, focus, and patience. You're proving to yourself that you can grow no matter how long it takes. So, as we move into the next part of this journey, I want you to remember this. Fluency isn't something you reach one day and then you're done. It's something you live every day, in every conversation, every sentence, every effort you make. It's a continuous dance between listening and speaking, between trying and learning. And shadowing is the bridge that connects them. So, take one more deep breath with me. Inhale and exhale. You're ready. You've got this. You're stronger than you think, and your English is improving more than you realize. In the next part, we'll dive deeper into what shadowing really means, how it works inside your brain, and how you can make it part of your daily routine. You'll understand why this simple method can completely change the way you speak and feel in English. So don't go anywhere. Stay with me. Keep your energy high, and let's continue this journey together. When we talk about shadowing, most people think it's just repeating after someone, but it's much deeper than that. Shadowing isn't only about echoing sounds. It's about training your mind, your ears, and your voice to move together like one. It's about becoming one with the rhythm of English. Think about it this way. When you were a child, you learned your first language not by studying grammar books or vocabulary lists, but by listening. You listened to the sounds around you, the voices of your parents, your friends, your teachers. You didn't analyze every sentence, you simply absorbed it. Slowly, your brain began to connect those sounds with meaning. That's how you started to speak, naturally, effortlessly, without even realizing you were learning. Shadowing brings you back to that natural way of learning. It teaches your brain to hear and speak at the same time, to mimic real speech patterns without overthinking. When you shadow, you're not translating, you're experiencing English directly. You stop thinking in your native language and start thinking in rhythm, in melody, in emotion. So, what exactly happens when you shadow? Let's look deeper. The moment you listen and speak simultaneously, your brain lights up. Both the listening and speaking areas of your brain are active at once, creating stronger neural pathways. Every repetition strengthens the link between sound and speech. You begin to predict sounds before they happen, anticipate patterns, and respond faster. This is why shadowing is one of the fastest ways to build fluency. It forces your brain to stay fully present. At first, it might feel like juggling too many things. You're trying to listen, speak, breathe, and remember words all at once. You'll stumble, you'll lose rhythm, you'll even laugh at yourself. That's okay. It means your brain is growing. Every mistake is a sign that new connections are forming. Remember, fluency isn't the absence of mistakes, it's the ability to keep going despite them. Let's make it practical. Imagine you're shadowing a simple phrase. How are you today? Most learners would say it word by word. How are you today? But native speakers don't speak like that. They connect sounds like, how are you today? The rhythm is smooth, the stress is natural, and the tone is friendly. Shadowing helps you catch that. The tiny movements, the reductions, the musicality of real speech. Now, I want you to close your eyes for a moment, unless you're driving or walking, of course, and just listen. Listen to the sound of my voice, the rise and fall, the pauses, the emotion behind the words. That's what shadowing trains, not just pronunciation, but intonation, the feeling inside the sentence. Because language isn't just about words, it's about emotion. When you say, I'm happy, your voice should smile. When you say, I'm sorry, your tone should soften. When you say, that's amazing, your voice should rise with excitement. Shadowing helps you internalize these emotional cues. You start to feel what you're saying, and that's when you stop sounding like a learner. You start sounding human, authentic, real. I remember a student named Hana. She was from South Korea. When she first joined my class, she could write beautifully, but spoke with hesitation. Her pronunciation was fine, but her rhythm was robotic, like each word stood alone. I introduced her to shadowing. At first, she struggled. She said, Emily, it's too fast. I can't keep up. But I told her, don't try to be perfect. Just stay in the flow. Every morning, she shadowed English podcasts for 10 minutes. After a few weeks, her speech changed. She didn't even notice it, but one day she said something fluently, effortlessly, and then she stopped and laughed. Emily, I didn't translate, I just spoke. That's what shadowing does. It unlocks your natural fluency. So how can you start using shadowing effectively? Let's break it down, not in steps or lists, but as a natural daily habit. Start small. Choose something you enjoy. A short YouTube video, a podcast, a dialogue, or even a movie scene. Listen once. Don't speak yet. Just let the rhythm sink in. Then listen again, and this time speak along. You might only catch half the words. That's okay. With each try, your brain adjusts, your tongue catches up, your voice grows stronger. When you shadow, don't aim for clarity, aim for connection.
Feel the movement of the sentence, the heartbeat of the phrase. Whisper at first if you need to, then speak louder, then match the natural tone. You'll notice that your breathing changes too. English has a natural breathing rhythm. Phrases come in waves. When you speak, breathe where the speaker breathes. That's part of shadowing, aligning not just sound, but energy. You might wonder, but Emily, should I repeat everything exactly, word for word? The answer is yes and no. At the beginning, mimic every detail. The goal is to train your ear and tongue to move together. But once you get comfortable, start adding your own emotion, your own rhythm. That's when you make English yours. Shadowing isn't about copying, it's about transformation. Sometimes you'll get frustrated. You'll think, why can't I sound like them? When that happens, take a pause, smile, and remind yourself it took them years too. Native speakers have been shadowing unconsciously since they were babies. You're just catching up and you're doing it consciously, with purpose. That's powerful. There's another reason shadowing works so well. It engages your muscle memory. Your tongue, lips, and jaw are muscles. The more you move them in English rhythm, the more automatic it becomes. Soon you won't need to think about how to pronounce. It'll just happen. Your mouth will know the way like your fingers remember how to type. That's when you start speaking effortlessly. Shadowing also trains your listening skills in a way that no other method does. You stop hearing words as separate sounds. You start hearing patterns. You recognize chunks of language like kinda, gonna, what's up, or you know what I mean. And because you've said them so many times, you don't freeze when you hear them in real life. You respond instantly. That's what real fluency feels like, when English flows naturally between listening and speaking. Now, let's do a short reflective exercise together. I want you to imagine a moment when you're speaking English freely, maybe during a meeting, a trip abroad, or just chatting with a friend online. Picture yourself speaking clearly, smiling, confident. How does it feel? That sense of ease, of belonging, of pride. That's what we're building here. Shadowing isn't just a technique, it's a bridge to that version of you. Now that you understand what shadowing truly means, let's go deeper into how it feels inside your body and mind. Because shadowing is not only a mental exercise, it's a physical experience. It's something you feel in your chest, your breath, your heartbeat, your confidence. Every time you speak along with the native voice, you're building more than fluency. You're building connection. When you shadow, you start to notice things you never noticed before. The melody of the sentence, the length of the pauses, the softness between two words. You might think, wait, did they really say that? Sometimes the words you hear aren't exactly what's written in the subtitles. That's because real English lives in the space between words. The sounds blend, shift, and dance. Shadowing helps you discover that secret world. Take the phrase, what are you doing? In textbooks, that's how it's written. But in real speech, it becomes, what you doing? Or what are you doing? Those little changes are what make English sound alive. When you shadow, you train your ear to recognize those natural reductions. You start to understand real conversations, not just textbook dialogues. There's a magical moment that happens when you shadow consistently. One day, while you're listening to a podcast or a movie, you'll suddenly realize you can predict what's coming next. Not because you've memorized it, but because you've internalized the rhythm. You feel what should come next. That's fluency. It's when your brain and tongue move faster than your conscious thought. The more you practice, the more you'll notice your inner voice changing too. You'll start thinking in English naturally. Instead of translating "thoi doi" to "I'm hungry," your mind will hear "I'm hungry" directly. That's when English becomes part of your identity, and you'll feel it, not as a foreign sound, but as something that belongs to you. There's something else special about shadowing. It teaches you patience and presence. In a world full of distractions, shadowing forces you to be here and now. You can't think about yesterday or tomorrow when you're shadowing. You must listen, speak, and breathe at the same time. It's almost meditative. Many learners tell me they feel calm after a shadowing session, even if they were stressed before. Why? Because when your focus is complete, your mind becomes still. You're not overthinking, you're simply being. I remember another student, Carlos from Brazil. He was always nervous about speaking English because he feared making mistakes. He said his mind went blank every time he tried to talk. I told him, Carlos, stop worrying about words. Just shadow. At first, he resisted, but one day he decided to try. He chose a short motivational video, just 1 minute long, and shadowed it every day for a week. By day 3, his pronunciation improved. By day 7, his confidence grew. He told me, Emily, I don't panic anymore. I just speak. That's what shadowing does. It replaces fear with flow. The beauty of shadowing is that it adapts to your level. If you're a beginner, you can shadow simple sentences like, I like coffee, it's a beautiful day, or I'm learning English. Don't underestimate these short phrases. When you repeat them with the right rhythm and emotion, you're training your foundation. You're building the music of English. For intermediate learners, you can shadow short dialogues from your favorite shows or even song lyrics. Choose something with clear pronunciation. And for advanced learners, challenge yourself with podcasts, TED Talks, or movies without subtitles. The key is not the difficulty of the content, but your connection to it. If you enjoy it, you'll stay consistent. And consistency is the true secret of progress.
Some people ask me, Emily, how long should I shadow every day? I usually say even 5 minutes is powerful because 5 minutes of full concentration is better than an hour of distracted study. Quality matters more than quantity. But if you can do more, 10, 20 minutes, that's wonderful. The important thing is to make it part of your routine, like brushing your teeth, a daily act of self-care for your language. Here's another tip. Record yourself. I know it might feel uncomfortable at first, but trust me, it's one of the most effective ways to grow. When you record yourself shadowing, you can hear your progress. Compare your voice with the original. You'll notice small differences. Maybe your stress is slightly off, or your tone is too flat. That's good. It gives you something to focus on next time. And when you listen again a month later, you'll be amazed at how far you've come. You can also shadow in different moods. Try shadowing something energetic in the morning, maybe a motivational speech or a cheerful dialogue. Then in the evening, choose something calm, like a storytelling podcast. You'll notice your voice adapts naturally. That's because shadowing trains emotional flexibility too. You're not just learning to pronounce words. You're learning to express feelings in English. And here's something I love. Shadowing can even change your confidence in life. When you master the rhythm of English, you start carrying yourself differently. You speak clearer, you breathe deeper, you smile more. Because every word you speak with clarity gives you a sense of control. You realize, I can do this. That confidence doesn't stop at English. It flows into everything you do. Let's talk about listening for a moment. Many learners say, I understand English when I read, but not when I listen. Shadowing solves that. When you shadow, you train your ears to decode real speech. You stop depending on subtitles because your brain learns to process sound directly. Each time you shadow, you're improving your listening speed and comprehension without even noticing it. It's like upgrading your inner software.
You'll also start to feel connected to the culture of English because language isn't just vocabulary, it's personality. When you shadow, you begin to sense humor, sarcasm, warmth, politeness, all the subtle things that make English beautiful. You begin to feel how people use tone to express respect, excitement, or empathy. That emotional awareness is what transforms your speech from correct to authentic. Sometimes when I record podcast episodes, I think about you, the listener, somewhere in another country, listening and shadowing along. Maybe you're on your morning walk. Maybe you're doing chores. Maybe you're lying in bed. And in that moment, your voice joins mine. We're connected by rhythm, by language, by intention. That's the magic of shadowing. It turns learning into connection. If you ever feel tired or discouraged, remember, even the best speakers once sounded unsure. Every fluent person has gone through this phase, where words stumble, sentences break, and voices shake. What makes them fluent is not talent, it's persistence. Shadowing gives you a daily way to keep going, to stay in touch with your dream. Because every time you shadow, you're not just practicing English, you're building the person you want to become. So next time you pick up your earphones and press play, don't think of it as a lesson. Think of it as a conversation between you and English. Let your voice blend with the sound. Don't chase perfection, chase connection. Feel the flow, embrace the rhythm, and trust that with every repetition, you're getting closer to fluency. Not forced, but natural.
Now that you understand what shadowing truly is and how it transforms your listening, speaking, and confidence, let's go even deeper. Let's talk about how to make shadowing part of your life. Because fluency doesn't happen in one day, 1 week, or one course. It happens in the quiet moments, those few minutes you spend listening, repeating, and connecting with the language every single day. You see, many learners fail not because they lack intelligence or motivation, but because they treat English like a task instead of a companion. They think, I'll study English for 30 minutes today, but they don't realize that English can live with them in their morning routine, their walk to work, their favorite songs, their podcasts. Shadowing can become your bridge to that world, where English isn't something you study, but something you live with. Imagine this. You wake up in the morning, make a cup of coffee, and play a short English clip. Maybe it's one of my podcast episodes, maybe a short TED Talk, maybe a scene from your favorite movie. You listen once while you prepare your drink, then when you sit down, you play it again. This time, you shadow. You speak softly at first, then louder, matching the rhythm, feeling the flow. It's only 5 minutes, but your day already starts with focus, energy, and purpose. That's the power of small habits. Shadowing isn't about doing more, it's about doing it consistently. Think of it like watering a plant. You don't pour 10 liters of water in one day and expect it to grow instantly. You water it a little every day, and over time, it grows strong roots. The same happens with your English. When you shadow daily, even for 5 minutes, you build invisible roots deep inside your brain, your memory, your voice. And here's the beautiful part. Shadowing can happen anywhere. You don't need a desk or a book. You can shadow while walking, while driving, while cooking. You can even whisper the words if you're in a public place. The important thing is to stay in the rhythm. The more often your tongue moves in English, the more natural it becomes.
I often tell my students, you don't have to find time for English. You just have to weave it into your life. Listen and shadow while you're doing everyday things. When you're walking, repeat what you hear. When you're cleaning, practice your favorite phrases. When you're cooking, talk about what you're doing. I'm chopping onions. I'm boiling pasta. It smells delicious. Turn your world into your classroom. That's how real fluency is built, not in silence, but in motion. And if you want to take it even further, try what I call shadow reflections. Here's how it works. After you shadow a clip, pause for a moment and reflect in your own words. For example, if the clip was about motivation, you can say, "This talk reminded me that I need to believe in myself." Speak your reflection in English. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be you. This step helps you move from imitation to expression. You're no longer copying someone else's words. You're creating your own voice in English. Let me share a little story. A few months ago, I received a message from a learner named Lynn from Vietnam. She told me that she had been shadowing my podcast every morning for 2 months. At first, she said it was difficult. She couldn't keep up. Her tongue felt tired, and sometimes she forgot words. But she didn't stop. She shadowed every day for 10 minutes. One day, during a work meeting, she suddenly found herself speaking smoothly without translating. Her colleagues noticed, and one of them said, "Your English sounds different, more natural." Lynn said she smiled quietly and thought, "That's my shadowing." You see, it's not magic, it's commitment. The moment you realize your hard work is paying off, that you can speak without fear, listen without stress, and express yourself with confidence, that's the moment you understand what fluency feels like. It's not about perfection, it's about freedom. Freedom to communicate, to connect, to be understood. Now, let's talk about one of the most overlooked parts of shadowing: emotion. Many learners focus so much on pronunciation that they forget language is emotional. When you shadow, try to feel what the speaker feels. If the speaker is passionate, let your voice carry that same passion. If they're calm, let your tone soften. If they're excited, let your energy rise. This emotional mirroring helps your English sound more authentic, not mechanical. You can even use shadowing as emotional practice. For example, if you feel shy speaking English, shadowing can help you borrow confidence from the voice you're following. Each time you shadow someone confident, you step into their energy. Little by little, that confidence becomes part of you. You're not just copying their words, you're absorbing their energy. And that's the real magic of shadowing. It's not just a language exercise, it's an identity practice. Every time you shadow, you're shaping the person you're becoming. You're building a new version of yourself, one who speaks English clearly, confidently, and freely. It's not about sounding like someone else, it's about discovering your best English self.
If you ever feel your motivation fading, remember this truth: consistency beats intensity. One quiet day of shadowing is worth more than a week of excuses. So instead of waiting for motivation, build momentum. Start small, stay steady, and let progress surprise you. You might not notice change day by day, but one day you'll look back and realize how far you've come. You'll remember when shadowing felt impossible, when words got stuck, when you doubted yourself. And you'll smile, because now you speak with ease. You'll realize that the voice you have today
is the result of hundreds of tiny moments when you chose to keep going. I want you to imagine something now. Imagine a year from today. You've been shadowing for a few minutes every day. You've listened, repeated, connected. You walk into a meeting or meet a new friend and you speak without hesitation. Your words flow naturally, your tone feels right, and you see understanding in their eyes. That moment, that feeling of ease, will be your reward. And when that happens, remember, it wasn't luck, it wasn't talent, it was you, your discipline, your patience, your courage. Every imperfect shadowing session, every time you whispered words in your kitchen, every morning you chose to practice, it all led to that moment. That's the beauty of this journey. So the next time you shadow, smile as you speak. Let the words flow like water. Feel the rhythm in your chest. Remind yourself, I'm not just repeating, I'm becoming fluent. I'm becoming confident. I'm becoming me in English. You're not learning to sound like anyone else. You're learning to sound like yourself in another language. That's powerful. That's transformation. That's fluency.
You know, every skill in life blooms when it becomes part of your daily rhythm, and shadowing is no different. You've already learned what shadowing means and how it transforms your English from the inside out. Now it's time to take it from theory into habit, because the real secret of fluency isn't how perfectly you speak, it's how often you connect with English. Think of your day as a canvas. From the moment you wake up until you fall asleep, you have so many little windows of time, quiet, ordinary moments that can become opportunities for growth. And the beautiful thing is, shadowing doesn't need a classroom. You don't need to sit at a desk or open a textbook. You can practice anytime, anywhere. It flows with your life. Let's start with your morning. Mornings are powerful because they set the tone for your entire day. When you wake up, before checking your phone or thinking about work, play something short in English. Maybe a motivational podcast, a short news clip, or even one of my episodes. Just listen for the first minute. Feel the energy, the voice, the words. Then, on the second play, start shadowing softly. Whisper along with the voice. Match the tone. Feel how your voice begins to wake up. It's like warming up your mind and your muscles for the day ahead. Many learners tell me, Emily, I don't have time. But you do. You have small spaces between tasks. Brushing your teeth, making breakfast, commuting to work. Those are your moments. Instead of scrolling through your phone or getting lost in thought, fill those minutes with English rhythm. If you walk to work, put on your earphones and shadow softly. If you drive, speak aloud with the recording. You'll be amazed how much progress you make when English becomes part of your everyday routine. Here's something that always works. Choose a theme for the day. For example, Monday could be about greetings and introductions. Tuesday, emotions. Wednesday, work conversations. Thursday, travel. Friday, motivation. Each day, pick one short clip that fits the theme and shadow it. You'll not only learn new phrases, but you'll also connect English with real-life situations. And when you face that situation in real life, your brain will instantly recall it because you've already practiced it. Shadowing also works beautifully with emotions and mindset. If you wake up feeling tired or unmotivated, try shadowing something uplifting. The energy of the speaker will lift you. If you feel stressed, shadow something calm, like a guided meditation or a reflective talk. Shadowing changes not only your English, but your mood, because when you align your voice with positive, powerful words, you feed your mind with that same energy. Now let's talk about evenings. Evening shadowing feels different. The day is done, your mind is calmer, your energy is softer. That's the perfect time for reflection.
Listen to something peaceful, maybe a storytelling podcast, a bedtime talk, or a slow dialogue. This time, focus less on speed and more on emotion. Let your shadowing be slower, gentler. Pay attention to how the speaker pauses, how their voice expresses kindness, curiosity, or peace. When you mirror that, your pronunciation improves naturally and your mind rests in English. For many learners, this kind of evening English ritual becomes sacred, a way to end the day with focus and gratitude. You can even whisper to yourself, "Today I practiced. Today I grew." Those small moments build not just your English, but your inner strength. And what about weekends? Weekends are a beautiful chance to shadow in creative ways. You can pick your favorite movie scene and shadow the characters' dialogues, or join an English live stream, pause the video, and repeat what you hear. You can even sing along to English songs. That's also shadowing, just more musical. The goal is to keep your connection alive, because fluency doesn't come from long, rare sessions. It comes from small, daily touches. Let me tell you about one of my students, Maria from Mexico. She was a busy nurse, always working long shifts. She told me she didn't have time to study English properly. I suggested she shadow short clips during her break, just 1 minute each time. She started doing it every day, between patients, while walking, or during her lunch. 6 months later, her colleagues noticed she was speaking more naturally. She didn't even realize it at first. That's how fluency works. It sneaks up on you when you stay consistent. Another beautiful idea is what I call situational shadowing. You practice what you'll actually say in your real life. For example, if you have a meeting tomorrow, find a clip related to business English and shadow it. If you're planning a trip, shadow travel dialogues. If you're preparing for an interview, shadow professional conversations. That way, when the real moment comes, your brain already knows the pattern. It feels familiar, not scary.
The more you connect shadowing with your real life, the faster your progress will be. You stop seeing English as a subject and start feeling it as a tool, something you use to express, connect, and grow. Now, let's talk about listening and speaking balance. Shadowing is powerful because it combines both, but sometimes you might want to separate them. On days when you feel tired, just listen. Absorb the sound, feel the rhythm. Then, on other days, focus more on speaking. That balance keeps your practice sustainable. The key is not to force yourself, but to flow with your energy. And remember, it's okay to repeat the same clip many times. In fact, it's better. Every repetition builds deeper understanding. The first time, you might only catch words. The second time, you notice a rhythm. The third, you feel emotion. By the fifth time, you sound natural. Repetition isn't boring, it's mastery. You can also make shadowing social. Find a friend who's learning English too and choose the same clip. Shadow separately, then record yourselves and share your progress. Encourage each other, laugh together. Learning becomes easier when you're not alone. And if you ever feel stuck, remind yourself, shadowing is a journey, not a test. There's no final exam, no score. Every session is a victory. Every time you speak out loud, you're building courage. Every time you repeat a sentence, you're deepening your fluency. Now, let's imagine your ideal day, a day filled with English energy. You wake up and shadow a short motivational clip while making breakfast. You listen to an English podcast on your way to work. You take a short break at lunch and whisper along to a dialogue. In the evening, you relax with a slow English story, shadowing softly before bed. You don't need to force it. It's part of your life, like breathing. That's what true fluency feels like, when English isn't something outside you anymore, but something inside you. Your daily shadowing routine isn't just about learning words, it's about shaping who you are. It's a daily act of self-love, of patience, of belief in your growth. Every good morning you shadow, every thank you, every have a great day.
It's you planting seeds of fluency, one small moment at a time.
Now, here we are, the final stage of our journey together, the moment where everything we've practiced, repeated, and felt starts to come together. This is where shadowing stops being just a technique and starts being a part of who you are. It's where the words you spoke in hundreds, maybe thousands of times, begin to flow freely, naturally, confidently, without hesitation. I want you to take a deep breath and feel this. Every single session you've shadowed has built not just your English, but your confidence, your focus, your courage. Every time you repeated a phrase, matched the rhythm, mirrored a tone, you were telling yourself, I can do this. And that self-belief is what carries you from practice to real-life fluency. Think back to the first time you tried shadowing. Maybe it felt awkward, unnatural. Maybe your tongue stumbled. Maybe your voice felt clumsy. That's okay. Every fluent speaker has been there. Fluency doesn't begin perfectly. It begins with persistence. Each stumble, each repetition, each moment of doubt has strengthened your brain, your tongue, and your confidence. That's the invisible work behind visible fluency. Shadowing teaches us something important. Fluency is more than words. It's rhythm, tone, emotion, and energy. It's the ability to think in English, to respond naturally, to connect with others effortlessly. When you shadow, you're training all of these layers at once. You're preparing yourself not just to speak English, but to live in English, in every conversation, every interaction, every story you tell. And this is where life really starts to change. Because when you become fluent, it's not just about speaking, it's about showing up. Confidence in English spills over into every part of your life. You start raising your hand in meetings. You start introducing yourself to new people. You start expressing your ideas without hesitation. Shadowing has done more than improve your pronunciation. It has shaped your presence, your voice, your self-assurance. I remember a learner named Ravi from India. He had a dream to work internationally, but he was shy, hesitant, and scared of making mistakes. He started shadowing consistently, 10 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at lunch, 10 minutes before bed. Weeks turned into months. One day, he attended a global Zoom meeting and spoke confidently for the first time. He told me later, Emily, I didn't think I could do it, but my voice just came out. I didn't translate, I just spoke. That's the beauty of shadowing. It trained you to trust your own voice. In trust, my dear learners, is everything. Trust in your voice, trust in your rhythm, trust in your ability to communicate. Shadowing gives you that trust because you've practiced it over and over. You've trained your brain, your ears, your mouth. You've built a bridge from thought to speech. And once that bridge exists, you can cross it anytime, anywhere. Now let's talk about real-life application. Shadowing prepares you for authentic situations, conversations, meetings, travel, presentations, social interactions. But real life is unpredictable. Sometimes people speak fast, sometimes the accents are different. Sometimes you don't understand immediately. And that's okay, because shadowing has given you flexibility. Your brain has been trained to follow, to adapt, to anticipate. You've learned to listen actively, respond confidently, and stay present. That's what fluency truly is. Not perfection, but adaptability and clarity.
And here's a secret I want to share with you. Confidence in English is built not only by speaking, but by embracing mistakes. Every oops, every stumble, every I don't know is a step forward. Fluency isn't the absence of mistakes, it's the ability to keep going despite them. Shadowing trains this resilience. It teaches you to speak without fear, to repeat without judgment, to flow without self-doubt. So, how do you take all of this into your life? First, keep shadowing. Make it part of your daily rhythm. Morning, afternoon, evening, find moments where English can join your life naturally. Second, record yourself occasionally. Listen to your progress. Celebrate even small victories. Third, engage with real people. Shadowing builds confidence, but conversations solidify it. Speak with friends, colleagues, classmates, or even online communities. Use the voice you've been practicing. Remember, shadowing is your foundation. Real conversations are your playground. Every interaction reinforces what you've learned, and the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. You start speaking without thinking, understanding without translating, expressing without hesitation. That's fluency, effortless, confident, authentic. And let's not forget emotion. Your voice carries your personality, your feelings, your authenticity. When you speak English confidently, you're not just communicating words, you're expressing yourself. Every laugh, every pause, every emphasis is a reflection of who you are. Shadowing helps you tune into that emotional layer, so your English isn't mechanical, it's alive. I want you to imagine your life 6 months from now. You've been shadowing consistently, practicing daily, engaging in real conversations. You walk into a room, greet someone, and speak freely. Your tone is natural, your words flow, your confidence is visible. People notice. You feel proud, at ease, and capable. That's not a dream. It's the result of dedication, patience, and consistent practice. And the final key is this: enjoy the journey. Shadowing isn't a chore, it's an adventure. Each session is a chance to discover your voice, your rhythm, your identity in English. Celebrate your progress, laugh at mistakes, feel the music of the language. Because when learning is joyful, it sticks. When it's meaningful, it transforms not just your English, but your life. So let me leave you with this. Every time you shadow, you're not just speaking English, you're building confidence, presence, and self belief. You're shaping the person who shows up in meetings, conversations, travels, and friendships. You're becoming fluent not only in language, but in life. And remember, you are capable. You are consistent. You are growing. Every word you speak, every phrase you repeat, every moment you spend listening and shadowing is a step toward freedom. Freedom to communicate, freedom to connect, freedom to shine. So go on, press play, listen, repeat, feel, flow. Let your voice rise with confidence. Let your rhythm align with English. And let your words carry your presence. Because you've done the work, you've built the foundation, and now you are fluent. Now, let's take our journey a step further. You've shadowed, you've practiced, you've built confidence, and you've started to speak fluently. But fluency isn't just about mastering phrases or pronouncing words correctly. It's about making English a natural part of your life, a companion that grows with you every day. That's what this next stage is all about: sustainability, joy, and real life mastery. Many learners struggle at this point. They practice diligently for weeks or months, but life gets busy, motivation fades, or they feel like they plateau. And here's the truth: it's natural. Language learning is not linear. Progress comes in waves, sometimes fast, sometimes slow. The key is to stay consistent and make English a habit you enjoy rather than a task you force yourself to complete. Shadowing becomes a lifestyle when you stop seeing it as practice and start seeing it as part of your day. Think about it. You already listen to music, podcasts, or audiobooks daily. Why not include shadowing? Short clips in the morning, dialogues during breaks, motivational talks while cooking. These small moments repeated consistently build enormous fluency over time. A powerful technique I love to share is shadowing with purpose. Don't just repeat words, connect them to your life. For example, if you're preparing for a work presentation, shadow phrases and sentences that relate to meetings, proposals, or emails. If you're traveling soon, shadow dialogues about directions, ordering food, or meeting new people. Shadowing becomes meaningful, and meaningful practice sticks longer. Another way to maintain progress is to track your journey. Record yourself occasionally and listen back. Notice subtle improvements, how your rhythm has smoothed, how your intonation has become natural, how your pronunciation is clearer. Celebrate these victories, no matter how small. This self reflection reinforces your confidence and keeps you motivated. And let's talk about community. Fluency grows faster when you share the journey. Find fellow learners, join online groups, or even pair up with a shadowing partner. You can shadow the same clip, exchange recordings, or practice conversations together. Encouragement, feedback, and shared laughter transform learning from solitary effort into joyful connection. Now, I want you to imagine something for a moment. Picture yourself in a real life situation, a meeting, a casual conversation with a stranger, or even a phone call. You speak clearly, naturally, confidently. The words flow without hesitation. You're not thinking about grammar or translation, you're communicating, connecting, expressing yourself. That image isn't just a dream, it's the reality you're building with every shadowing session. Shadowing also strengthens your adaptability. In real conversations, people speak at different speeds, with various accents, using idioms or slang. Regular shadowing trains your brain to follow, anticipate, and respond naturally. Over time, you'll notice that comprehension becomes faster, responses become smoother, and your confidence in unexpected situations skyrocket. One technique that helps immensely is emotional shadowing. When you shadow, pay attention to the speaker's feelings. Are they excited, calm, curious, sad? Mirror that emotion in your voice. Not only does this improve your intonation, but it also trains your mind to perceive the subtle emotional layers of English. Emotion gives your speech life, and life makes fluency memorable and natural. Let's also touch on motivation over the long term. Shadowing can be challenging at times. There will be days when words stumble, voices feel awkward, and you wonder if progress is real. Here's the reminder: every small session counts. Every time you repeat a phrase, you reinforce the connection between listening, thinking, and speaking. Over weeks and months, these small actions accumulate into profound change. And here's a beautiful truth. When you consistently shadow, you don't just improve your English, you transform yourself. You gain patience, persistence, self discipline, and the courage to express yourself freely. These qualities flow beyond language. They influence your work, relationships, and daily life. Your voice becomes confident not only in English, but in how you present yourself in the world. I want to share a story of a learner named Anna from Spain. She had struggled with speaking English for years. She was nervous, hesitant, and avoided conversations. She started shadowing 20 minutes each day. Mornings with podcasts, evenings with movie dialogues. Slowly, her voice became smoother. Her intonation became natural. After 6 months, she traveled abroad and spoke confidently with strangers. She didn't just speak English, she owned it. She told me, "Emily, shadowing gave me courage. I am no longer afraid to speak. And that's the essence of this journey. Shadowing doesn't just teach language, it teaches bravery. Now, here's a practical tip to make shadowing sustainable for life: variety and fun. Mix short motivational clips, interviews, dialogues, and songs. Shadow with different speeds and accents. Challenge yourself with a fast paced clip one day, a slow and emotional story the next. Play with rhythm, tone, and emotion. When practice is enjoyable and diverse, consistency comes naturally.
Now, let's take our journey a step further. You've shadowed, you've practiced, you've built confidence, and you started to speak fluently. But fluency isn't just about mastering phrases or pronouncing words correctly. It's about making English a natural part of your life, a companion that grows with you every day. That's what this next stage is all about: sustainability, joy, and real-life mastery. Many learners struggle at this point. They practice diligently for weeks or months, but life gets busy, motivation fades, or they feel like they plateau. And here's the truth: it's natural. Language learning is not linear. Progress comes in waves, sometimes fast, sometimes slow. The key is to stay consistent and make English a habit you enjoy rather than a task you force yourself to complete. Shadowing becomes a lifestyle when you stop seeing it as practice and start seeing it as part of your day. Think about it. You already listen to music, podcasts, or audiobooks daily. Why not include shadowing? Short clips in the morning, dialogues during breaks, motivational talks while cooking. These small moments, repeated consistently, build enormous fluency over time. A powerful technique I love to share is shadowing with purpose. Don't just repeat words, connect them to your life. For example, if you're preparing for a work presentation, shadow phrases and sentences that relate to meetings, proposals, or emails. If you're traveling soon, shadow dialogues about directions, ordering food, or meeting new people. Shadowing becomes meaningful, and meaningful practice sticks longer. Another way to maintain progress is to track your journey. Record yourself occasionally and listen back. Notice subtle improvements: how your rhythm has smoothed, how your intonation has become natural, how your pronunciation is clearer. Celebrate these victories, no matter how small. This self-reflection reinforces your confidence and keeps you motivated. And let's talk about community. Fluency grows faster when you share the journey. Find fellow learners, join online groups, or even pair up with a shadowing partner. You can shadow the same clip, exchange recordings, or practice conversations together. Encouragement, feedback, and shared laughter transform learning from solitary effort into joyful connection. Now, I want you to imagine something for a moment. Picture yourself in a real-life situation: a meeting, a casual conversation with a stranger, or even a phone call. You speak clearly, naturally, confidently. The words flow without hesitation. You're not thinking about grammar or translation, you're communicating, connecting, expressing yourself. That image isn't just a dream, it's the reality you're building with every shadowing session. Shadowing also strengthens your adaptability. In real conversations, people speak at different speeds, with various accents, using idioms or slang. Regular shadowing trains your brain to follow, anticipate, and respond naturally. Over time, you'll notice that comprehension becomes faster, responses become smoother, and your confidence in unexpected situations skyrockets. One technique that helps immensely is emotional shadowing. When you shadow, pay attention to the speaker's feelings. Are they excited, calm, curious, sad? Mirror that emotion in your voice. Not only does this improve your intonation, but it also trains your mind to perceive the subtle emotional layers of English. Emotion gives your speech life, and life makes fluency memorable and natural. Let's also touch on motivation over the long term. Shadowing can be challenging at times. There will be days when words stumble, voices feel awkward, and you wonder if progress is real. Here's the reminder: every small session counts.
Every time you repeat a phrase, you reinforce the connection between listening, thinking, and speaking. Over weeks and months, these small actions accumulate into profound change. And here's a beautiful truth. When you consistently shadow, you don't just improve your English, you transform yourself. You gain patience, persistence, self-discipline, and the courage to express yourself freely. These qualities flow beyond language. They influence your work, relationships, and daily life. Your voice becomes confident not only in English, but in how you present yourself in the world. I want to share a story of a learner named Anna from Spain. She had struggled with speaking English for years. She was nervous, hesitant, and avoided conversations. She started shadowing 20 minutes each day, mornings with podcasts, evenings with movie dialogues. Slowly, her voice became smoother. Her intonation became natural. After 6 months, she traveled abroad and spoke confidently with strangers. She didn't just speak English, she owned it. She told me, "Emily, shadowing gave me courage. I'm no longer afraid to speak." And that's the essence of this journey. Shadowing doesn't just teach language, it teaches bravery. Now, here's a practical tip to make shadowing sustainable for life: variety and fun. Mix short motivational clips, interviews, dialogues, and songs. Shadow with different speeds and accents. Challenge yourself with a fast-paced clip one day, a slow and emotional story the next. Play with rhythm, tone, and emotion. When practice is enjoyable and diverse, consistency comes naturally. And don't forget to reflect on your progress regularly. Every month, record a short session and compare it to your first recordings. Notice the improvements in pronunciation, fluency, and confidence. Celebrate them. This reflection not only motivates, but reminds you how far you've come, reinforcing your commitment to continued growth. And finally, shadowing isn't about perfection. It's about connection with the language, with others, and with yourself. Every phrase you repeat, every sentence you mirror, every emotion you match brings you closer to fluent, natural English. Over time, you'll discover that fluency is less about memorizing words and more about inhabiting the rhythm, tone, and flow of English. So, here's my encouragement to you. Continue shadowing every day. Make it part of your life. Celebrate your progress. Embrace your mistakes. Connect with the emotion behind the words. And trust that every step, no matter how small, is bringing you closer to fluency. Shadowing is more than a technique. It's a lifestyle, a mindset, a bridge between practice and real-life confidence. You've built the foundation, you've cultivated rhythm, tone, and emotion, and now it's time to carry this fluency into your life wherever you go. Now, as we continue on this journey, let's talk about something even more profound: the mindset that allows you to speak confidently in English, no matter the situation. You see, fluency isn't only built on technique, rhythm, or pronunciation. It's built on courage, belief, and a willingness to step into the unknown. Shadowing has given you a foundation, but the next step is ownership. Owning your English, owning your voice, and owning the power to express yourself. Many learners hesitate because they fear mistakes. They worry about sounding wrong, about people misunderstanding them, about making small errors that seem huge in their minds. And it's natural. But here's the truth. Mistakes are your teachers. Every time you stumble over a word, mispronounce a phrase, or pause in confusion, you're learning. Shadowing trains you to anticipate these moments, to stay calm, and to speak anyway. Each mistake is just another step toward effortless, confident fluency. At this stage, I encourage you to experiment boldly with your shadowing. Don't just repeat exactly what you hear. Play with intonation. Emphasize words differently. Inject your personality. Try speaking the phrases as if you were telling a story to a friend or giving a passionate speech. Shadowing becomes more than imitation. It becomes self-expression. This is how English stops feeling like a foreign language and starts feeling like an extension of yourself. Let's also focus on shadowing strategically for long-term growth. Up until now, we've emphasized repetition and consistency. Now you can layer in intentionality. For example, one day focus on intonation, matching the rise and fall of the speaker's voice. Another day focus on speed and rhythm, how fast or slow the phrases are spoken. Another day focus on emotion, capturing the speaker's energy, excitement, or calmness. By rotating your focus, you're not just practicing words, you're training every aspect of fluent, natural speech. Over time, these layers combine, and your English becomes multidimensional, clear, expressive, and alive. Confidence grows alongside skill. The more deeply you engage with shadowing, the more you internalize English patterns. And when you internalize them, you stop thinking consciously about grammar or translation. Your brain reacts instinctively. Your mouth follows automatically. You speak with fluidity because you feel English in your body. Here's an important tip for sustaining progress. Track your milestones and celebrate them. Every recording, every reflection, every session you complete is proof of growth. Sometimes progress feels slow, but when you look back a month or 6 months, you'll be amazed to hear yourself speak in ways that once seemed impossible. And that realization that I've really grown is incredibly motivating. Another technique I love for advanced learners is shadowing with improvisation. After you shadow a clip, try saying the next sentence yourself, or answer a question as if you were part of the conversation. This turns shadowing from mimicry into creative thinking in English. It's the bridge between practice and real-life communication, exactly what fluent speakers do instinctively every day. Let's not forget the power of environment and habit stacking. Pair shadowing with something you already do daily. For example, during your morning coffee, play a short English clip and shadow it. While cooking or walking, replay your favorite phrases and repeat them aloud. Before bed, whisper a short motivational dialogue you've memorized. These small daily touch points create English immersion in your life without requiring hours of dedicated study. Shadowing becomes effortless because it's integrated into your lifestyle. I want to share a story of a student named Leo from Italy. He was nervous speaking in professional meetings because his English felt slow and awkward. I suggested he shadow business podcasts daily, not for long, just short, focused sessions. He also recorded himself weekly and reflected on improvement. 6 months later, Leo not only spoke confidently in meetings, but he also found himself thinking in English spontaneously. He told me, "Emily, I feel like English is part of me now." That's what consistent, mindful shadowing does. It transforms your identity in addition to your skill. And here's a crucial mindset shift. View English as your tool, not a test. Shadowing isn't about proving something. It's about connecting, expressing, and creating. When you approach English this way, every session becomes joyful, empowering, and motivating. Mistakes become experiments, repetition becomes discovery, and progress becomes inevitable. As you continue this journey, embrace the small wins. A clear pronunciation here, a confident phrase there, a natural response in conversation. Each is a victory. These small victories compound over time into profound transformation. Your voice becomes stronger, your rhythm more natural, and your confidence unshakable. And finally, remember this. Fluency is not a destination. It's a lifelong adventure. Each word you shadow, each sentence you repeat, each moment you immerse yourself in English brings you closer to mastery. But the true reward is not just in speaking English, it's in who you become in the process. Patient, confident, resilient, expressive, and courageous. So keep listening, keep repeating, keep experimenting, and keep connecting. Let shadowing be your daily ritual, your creative playground, your bridge to fluency. Trust the process, trust your voice, and trust yourself. because every moment you spend shadowing is a step toward English that feels effortless, natural, and uniquely yours.
Here we are, the final part of our journey together. You've listened, repeated, practiced, reflected, and immersed yourself in English like never before. You've built rhythm, emotion, confidence, and presence. You've discovered the true power of shadowing, not just as a technique, but as a lifestyle. And now it's time to look forward, to take everything you've learned and carry it into your life, every day, everywhere. Fluency is a journey, not a destination. Every session you've shadowed, every phrase you've repeated, every tiny victory along the way, it all adds up. Each moment you've dedicated to listening, speaking, and feeling English has strengthened your voice, your mind, and your courage. And the best part? This is just the beginning. The more you practice, the more naturally English becomes a part of who you are. Let's take a moment to celebrate how far you've come. Think about the first time you tried shadowing. Maybe your tongue stumbled, maybe your voice felt hesitant. And now, you speak with rhythm, confidence, and expression. You listen actively, respond instinctively, and feel English in your body and mind. That transformation is yours because of your dedication, patience, and consistency. But the journey doesn't stop here. Shadowing can continue to grow with you. You can explore new podcasts, new dialogues, new emotions. You can challenge yourself with faster clips, different accents, and real-life conversations. Each new step is an opportunity to stretch your fluency, expand your vocabulary, and deepen your confidence. And remember the most important lesson: mistakes are your teachers. Hesitation is temporary. Doubt is part of the process. Every time you speak, you're reinforcing your skills. Every time you shadow, you're shaping not only your English, but your identity as a confident, capable communicator. This mindset, resilience, curiosity, and joy is what makes fluency permanent. I want you to imagine the life ahead. Picture yourself speaking English naturally in meetings, traveling freely, making new friends, or presenting your ideas confidently. Hear the rhythm of your own voice. Feel the freedom that comes with understanding and being understood. That's the reward of your practice, and it's waiting for you, just a few daily sessions away. Before we close, I want to leave you with a final reminder. Shadowing is your bridge. It connects listening, speaking, emotion, and confidence. It transforms repetition into mastery, hesitation into courage, and learning into life. And the best part? This bridge is yours to cross every day at your pace in your own way. So continue your journey. Listen, repeat, feel, express, experiment. Enjoy every single moment. Let English become a part of your daily rhythm, a companion in your life, and a reflection of your authentic voice. You've done incredible work so far. Keep going, and you'll be amazed at where your voice can take you. If you've enjoyed this journey and found value in these lessons, I invite you to subscribe to my channel, Emily US English, and join our community of learners. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a new episode, and share your progress in the comments below. I would love to hear how shadowing is helping you become confident in English. Thank you for spending this time with me, for committing to your growth, and for trusting yourself to take every step toward fluency. Your voice matters, your words matter, and your journey is just beginning. Keep shadowing, keep speaking, and keep shining in English. Remember, fluency is not a destination. It's a journey, a rhythm, and a voice. Yours to create, yours to embrace, yours to live every single day. Subscribe, stay consistent, and let your English shine.